Imagine walking into a room that has been sealed for thousands of years. It is pitch black. To see the beautiful carvings on the walls, you would need a torch or a candle, right? But what if the people who built these walls didn't use fire? What if, over 4,000 years ago, the ancient Egyptians flipped a switch and turned on the lights? This sounds impossible, like something from a science fiction movie. But deep inside an ancient temple in Egypt, there is a stone carving that has baffled engineers and historians for decades. It doesn't look like a god or a pharaoh. It looks exactly like a massive, modern electric light bulb. Today, we are going to solve the mystery of the Dendera light. Did they really have high-tech electricity, or is there a much simpler, spiritual explanation? To find this mystery, we have to travel to the Temple of Hathor in Dendera, Egypt. This is one of the best-preserved temples in the entire country. But we aren't looking at the giant statues outside. We need to go underground, into the cramped, secret crypts beneath the temple floor. These rooms were only for the high priests. On the limestone walls, there are 3 stone reliefs that look very strange to modern eyes. The carvings show human figures holding up what looks like giant, transparent glass tubes. Inside these tubes, you can see a wavy snake floating in the center. The tube is connected to a small base with a cord running out of it. And holding up the entire device is a strange pillar with arms. When modern engineers saw this, they immediately thought of a Crookes tube, an early type of light bulb invented in the 19th century. The resemblance is so close that it shocked the world. This is where the ancient astronaut, theorists, and technology enthusiasts get very excited. They ask a very practical question. How did the Egyptians paint and carve inside pitch-black tombs without leaving soot marks? If you use oil lamps or torches, the smoke rises and turns the ceiling black. However, many tombs in the Valley of the Kings have clean, colorful ceilings. Supporters of the electricity theory say the Dendera carving explains everything. They believe the tube is a glass bulb, the snake inside represents the glowing electric filament, and the cord is a copper wire plugging into a power source. They argue that the pillar holding it up, known as the Jed pillar, was actually a high-voltage insulator. If this is true, it would rewrite all of human history. It would mean electricity wasn't invented by Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Edison, but by the pharaohs thousands of years ago. However, historians and Egyptologists tell a very different story. They argue that we are making a mistake called pareidolia. This is when we look at something ancient and force it to look like something modern that we recognize. To an Egyptologist, every part of that carving has a deep religious meaning, not a mechanical one. Experts explain that the bulb is actually a lotus flower, which is a symbol of creation. In Egyptian mythology, the sun god was born from a lotus flower. The snake inside isn't a wire, it is the god Harsamtus, who appears in the form of a snake emerging from the lotus. This represents the sun rising and the beginning of the universe. The cord is actually the stem of the lotus flower. And the Jed pillar, with arms, isn't an electrical insulator. It is a very common symbol for stability and the backbone of the god Osiris. So, instead of a wiring diagram, scientists say this is a religious scene about life, death, and the daily rebirth of the sun. So, which theory is true? While the electric bulb idea is fun to think about, there is a big problem. There is no physical evidence. Archaeologists have found thousands of items from ancient Egypt: sandals, tools, chariots, and jewelry. But they have never found a single glass bulb, a copper wire, or a battery that could power a light like this. Also, the mystery of the clean ceilings has been solved. We know that Egyptians used special oil lamps mixed with salt, which burn very cleanly and produce almost no smoke. They also likely used a system of polished bronze mirrors to reflect sunlight from the outside deep into the tunnels. This would light up the rooms without using any electricity at all. The Dendera light is a perfect example of how two people can look at the same picture and see two completely different things. One sees a lost technology that could change the world. The other sees a beautiful prayer carved in stone. While the idea of ancient light bulbs is thrilling, the evidence points to it being a symbolic masterpiece rather than a mechanical blueprint. What do you think? Is this just a lotus flower and a snake? Or is it possible that the ancients knew more about energy than we give them credit for? Let me know your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed this mystery, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the hidden corners of history. Thanks for watching.